From American actors who became governors, the former elected president, the latter known for the phrase,
"I'll be back,"
to Chima and Chinua, two of Africa's most famous authors who, though not related, by some freaky coincidence, lived in the same house several years apart, and sadly, things did fall apart. Two American T-Ribs and German M. Schumacher, Formula One aficionados, born on the same day. From America's first black ballerina to Robert Ballard. From Indian author, teacher of yoga, B.K.S. Iyengar, who reminds us that we are not getting any younger, to the drama in Bahama and the rumble in the jungle, a killer and a chiller and the thriller in Manila, to Malala and Lilibeth, the former whose son almost set in the SWAT district from an assassin's bullet, the latter a royal majesty, whose empire the sun, it was said, never set, to the exquisite beauty of our expansive, expanding, and majestic universe. Whatever takes your fancy, there's something for everyone right here, right now. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama and this is Today in History for January 26th. Join me as we journey through history and I share important events as recorded on this day. So let's get cracking. Just like I promised yesterday, coming up in today's Today in History, it's all about convicts, Coleman and Newman. Actually, there's also a surprise, something I didn't mention yesterday. It's a big surprise. Now, this you would think was totally impossible to achieve. Now, I say achieve in quotes. Keep watching and all will be revealed in a few minutes. Okay, so we're going to start with this book. Now, this book is known as the Pentateuch. So the Pentateuch, on this day in 1482. Now, the meaning of the Pentateuch, before I carry on, is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. So the Old Testament is part of the Bible. Okay, so the first 5 books of the Old Testament: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So the Pentateuch, which was traditionally ascribed to Moses, is now held by scholars to be a compilation from text of the 9th to 5th centuries BC. So the Jewish name is the Torah. So this was the day in 1482 that the Jewish Bible is first printed as a book, and that happened in Bologna, Italy. So Bologna, Italy, the year was 1482. The date, of course, was the 26th of January. The Pentateuch is first printed as a book. So this is the Pentateuch. This is the original copy of the Pentateuch that was printed on this day in 1482. Moving swiftly forward, 306 years later, history was made down under. His name is Admiral Arthur Phillip. Now, this is a bit about convicts. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, the early European settlers of Australia were convicts. 99% of them were convicts from the United Kingdom, from the British Isles. So this was a guy who brought these convicts, the first set of convicts, to Australia. The day was 26th of January, of course, and the year was 1788. Again, his name is Admiral Arthur Phillip. He sailed into what is now Sydney Cove with a shipload of convicts, hoisted the British flag, and established the first permanent European settlement on the continent of Australia. Moving on, next important event on this day was the birth of Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman, if that name rings a bell, yes, I have featured her in one of my videos. Bessie Coleman, full name Elizabeth Coleman, or Elizabeth Bessie Coleman, was born in Atlanta on this day in 1892, Atlanta in Texas. So this is not Atlanta, Georgia, but Atlanta, Texas. Popularly known as Queen Bess, Coleman was the first African-American woman to become an airplane pilot and the first American of any race or gender to hold an international pilot's license. She first became interested in aviation after hearing stories from pilots who were returning from World War I. Unable to gain admission to flight schools in the United States because of her race and gender, Coleman traveled to Paris, France on November 20th, 1920. So 11/20. As we would say from the United Kingdom, I guess Americans would say 11/20/20. So 1920, 20th of November, exactly 100 years, well, 100 years and a few, couple of months. So she traveled to Paris, France on November 20th. On June 15th, 1921, nearly 100 years ago, Bessie Coleman became not only the first African-American woman to earn an international aviation license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, but the first African-American woman in the world to earn an aviation pilot's license. Unable to earn a living as a commercial pilot upon her return to the United States, she became a stunt flyer, performing in air shows to great acclaim. Sadly, on the 30th of April 1926, Coleman perished in an accident while practicing in a newly purchased plane. She was just 34 years old. It was later discovered that the wrench used to service the engine had slid into the gearbox and jammed it, causing the plane to spin out of control. What a sad end. What a sad end to a brave pioneer in aviation. So that's Bessie Coleman's story, who sadly died in an air disaster at the age of 34 in 1926. Next, we go to Paul Leonard Newman. Yes, I did say Coleman, and this is now Newman. So this is Paul Leonard Newman, born on this day in 1925. Who was he? He was an American actor, film director, race car driver, and entrepreneur. He was the recipient of numerous awards, including an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, 3 Golden Globe Awards, and many, many more. So Paul Leonard Newman, born on this day in 1925, sadly passed on the 26th of September 2008. Okay, next, 1918 was the day Nikolae Cesco was born. Who was he? He was a Romanian communist politician and leader. He was a leader, General Secretary of the Romanian Communist Party from 1965 to 1989, and the second and last communist leader of Romania. He was also the country's head of state from 1967 as president of the State Council, and from 1974 concurrently as president of the Republic, until his overthrow and execution in the Romanian Revolution in December 1989, part of a series of anti-communist and anti-Soviet uprisings in Eastern Europe. So Nikolae Cesco was born on this day, sadly executed in 1989 after his overthrow. In 1944, Angela Davis, the radical Angela Davis, an American politician, activist, philosopher, pictured right here, was born. So she's 77 years old today. She is also an academic and author. She is a professor at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Ideologically a Marxist, Davis was a longtime member of the Communist Party USA, the CPUSA, and is a founding member of the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism. So interesting, democracy and socialism. It sounds a bit ironic, if you like. I don't know. Drop me a comment. You guys know about this sort of combination, democracy and socialism. And then she's also ideologically a Marxist, communist as well, long-time member of the Communist Party, USA. Sounds like a very, very intelligent woman. So anyway, this is Angela Davis. She was born on this day in 1944. I'm going to show you some more pictures. I'm sure the pictures of her as a younger woman might ring a bell to some of you. I think she hung out with Martin Luther King Jr. I think so. I think I've seen a movie, a documentary of her. So check this out. So that's another picture of Angela Davis in her younger days. That's the afro going full blast. So this is probably a more memorable picture of her. For me it is anyway. Last but not least, that's Angela Davis on the cover of Time magazine. Angela Davis. So Angela Davis is 77 years old today, so I guess it's a happy birthday to Angela Davis, born on this day in 1944. Again, she's an American political activist, philosopher, academic, and author. She's ideologically Marxist, longtime member of the Communist Party, founding member of the Committee of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism. Next, on this day as well, born in 1958, she's 63 years old today. Happy birthday, Anita Dennis Baker, also known as Anita Baker, popularly known as Anita Baker. She is an American singer-songwriter, regarded as one of the most popular singers of soulful romantic ballads during the height of the Quiet Storm period of contemporary R&B in the 1980s. So Anita Dennis Baker, happy birthday, born on this day in 1958. And that's another picture of lovely Anita Baker in her younger days. Anita Baker, so it's happy birthday to Anita Baker. American singer-songwriter, regarded as one of the most popular singers of the soulful romantic ballads during the height of the Quiet Storm period of contemporary R&B in the 1980s. He is 63 years old today. Also born on this day, the year was 1958, Ellen Degeneres, full name Ellen Lee Degeneres. She's an American comedian, of course, television host, actress, writer, and producer. She starred in the sitcom Ellen from 1994 to 1998 and has hosted her syndicated television talk show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, since 2003. Happy birthday, Ellen DeGeneres, born on this day in 1958. So Ellen DeGeneres is also 63, same age as Anita Baker. January 26th, 1972, on this day. This is the mystery I've been keeping away from you. This woman, believe it or not, her name is Vesna Vulovic. She survives a 10,160 meter fall without a parachute. She survives. So that's why I said it was an achievement in quote. Now, I'm sure this picture tells the whole story. A bomb went off in a suitcase. It exploded in the baggage compartment of JAT Flight 367 on the 26th of January 1972. So obviously on this day in 1972, causing it to crash near Tripska Kamenice, Czechoslovakia. Beg your pardon, that sound in the background. So Serbian stewardess Vesna Vulovic survived on this day in 1972. Obviously, she had a few broken bones. She was in a coma for a while, in hospital for months, but she survived and lived until the year 2016. She only died just 5 years ago. So this was the day that this miracle happened. Obviously, everyone else in the airplane lost their lives. She was the sole survivor of this bomb and subsequent plane crash. Okay, so more pictures of this lady. This is, of course, titled How to Survive a Bombing at 33,000 feet. It is said that she doesn't remember this. She has no recollection and wanted to go back to her job. She was given a desk job instead. The airline were a bit worried about the publicity it might cause, and eventually, actually, she was sacked. She was sacked because she took place in some sort of demonstration against the government. She was eventually sacked from her job. But again, she made history on this day. Everyone else died apart from Vesna Vulovic. Okay, see if we can find one more picture of this lady, and then we'll move on to the next event on this day. So, one final picture of Vesna. Next, 1998, Hogan Bessie dies. Who was Hogan Bessie? He is the guy pictured here. Hogan Bessie, famous in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. He was born in a place called Cross River State, a town called Creektown near Calabar in Nigeria. Hogan Kidd Bessie, his full name MBE. MBE simply stands for Member of the British Empire. So that's like an award that the Queen of England gives to distinguished people, people who have achieved some level of importance, I guess, in society through the things that they've done. Sort of, in his case, obviously, boxing title. He was the first man of Nigerian descent to become a world boxing champion. He was born Okon Asukwo Bessie on the banks of the Cross River in Cross River State, Creektown, Calabar, Nigeria. So Hogan Bessie died on this day, January 26th, 1998. He was of Nigerian descent. He settled in the United Kingdom, and so he had dual citizenship. Hogan Bessie, sadly, died on this day in 1998. Last but not least, another athlete who died on this day, sadly, because we all remember Kobe Bryant. This was the day in 2020, American basketball player Kobe Bryant, who was considered one of the sport's greatest players, winning 5 NBA championships with the Los Angeles Lakers, died in a helicopter crash. Along with others, his daughter as well, at the age of 41. On that sad note, folks, we have nearly come to the end of today's Today in History. Don't go anywhere. Tomorrow's Today in History, we have an inventor, an Egyptian business magnate, Carol and Camprad. You guess who those are? Intrigued? See you tomorrow when all will be revealed. Stay safe. Take care. Do not forget to like this video if you like it. Don't forget to share as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. And take care of yourselves. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for watching my video. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.